So welcome everyone to our 7th Kingdom Council. Tonight we're going to talk about things we say to ourselves and each other that hold us back. I'm sure you've all heard the following. You can't work with your own folks because they're all crabs in a barrel, or they must have sold out because they're too successful. How do we develop this mindset? How did we develop this mindset? And how can we do anything to combat these negative ways of thinking? What's y'all's thoughts?
So much that can be said on how we even got here, to be honest. I mean, might have to go back to the 15th, 16th century, who knows,
Before then.
We didn't land on Plymouth Rock. Plymouth Rock landed on us. Real.
But it's just a shame that so many more people don't realize that, yeah, there is an issue there that is much bigger than us and we don't see it. So yes, I think one of the ways that one of the reasons we got here is because of the limiting behavior. I think that a lot of us have tried very hard at some point in life, and then we see it not coming together, or we look at other ethnicities or nationalities and we say, hey, they work together, and so that's why they're successful. And then we look at our in our own community and say, well, hey, I'm used to being the backbiting or what have you, and I believe that's one of the issues that we have, looking outside of ourselves and not really concentrating on we are strong together.
Yeah, definitely.
That is like the number one thing. Like we cannot come together and gather for anything. Like anything. We are such an individualistic people. Like, and everybody else has found their community within themselves, and they work together and they make money together and they do everything together. They are a nation. We are a nation. But we don't know that we are.
Yeah, we were cut off from being a nation, looking in, the good book. So we're seeing now those effects of that.
I mean, history, tends to repeat itself, and right now, we mentioned organization, we mentioned, a clash between unity, division, and, like-minded thankfulness for sure. And it's like, with history's going, I mean, it's not like we never were organized, we got to touch that, because it's not like we never were not organized, looking at it, whether you're looking at, the Egyptians, or even, Tulsa being the Black village, like, far as our Black Wall Street, and even touching on other great, Black communities. Far as in Georgia, I just learned that in Georgia, there was an entire town that lived near a lake, and because some Black group of boys was trialed and basically lynched or executed the same day, a mob of Caucasian people just went after and killed basically anybody of the remaining people. So it's not like we were never not organized. It's more of a sense we're kind of living in this state of mind of survival.
And when we look at throughout history where we have been able to come together, we see like we're either under attack or the land is stolen out from under us. There are countless examples of, we can look at Central Park, for example. There was a long time ago, Seneca Village that belonged to Black people. And they were not only, it was actually an integrated community. There were Irish people living there, and everybody had, businesses, and they were working fine and living in an integrated society. But then once the powers that be, richer people, decided that they wanted that prime area, it's boom, you got to get out, or other areas where, they literally would flood towns and built lakes over top of Black towns because they wanted that land. Like, it's just, we keep seeing this setback over and over. And I think part of that also leads to having negative sayings like, the man keeps me down, or, this society wasn't built for me to be successful. And we still see stuff like that today.
I think, like, Like, for example, when I went to college, people in my family, I was the first to go to college. People in my family would always tell me, oh, so you think you're better than everybody now just because I went to college, just because I graduated from high school. So I think a lot of the stigma behind it is they see something that a lot of the people that are really negative about it, they see something that they've never were able to achieve and they're salty about it. They feel some type of way, which I understand, but it doesn't help anything, you know? It just makes everything worse. It makes people feel worse, bad about, you know, being successful. It feels like, you know, you're selling out just because they weren't able to do what you were able to do.
They're gaslighting and projecting their insecurities. That's definitely what it is.
I don't know how
Mhm.
many calls I got from, you know, people saying, well, why don't you ever come back around? I'm like, I have classes every day from 7 a.m. to
Yeah.
7 p.m.,
Yeah.
sometimes 10 p.m. So,
Mhm.
Right.
and then I had a job on the weekends. And so I was like, my focus was to, you know, take advantage of this college because I had a full scholarship. So
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit here and waste it because you want to go drink or you want to reminisce. Like, you have my phone number. Clearly.
Reminisce.
Oh, right.
Same thing when people
All
become
these
successful. I'm sorry. Same thing when people become successful, say even in the entertainment industry. And, you know, a lot of people from their hometown will say, you know, hey, you sold out, you moved away, you don't come back anymore, you know? And, you know, it's just that mentality. You can do it too, you know? So is it an identity issue? You know, people don't know, they don't realize their identity.
They're more than
Yeah.
the hood,
It's,
or they're
yeah,
more
it's
than
identity and it's confidence. It's a lack of confidence too. Because when you're
propaganda.
confident, nothing
Propaganda.
is gonna stop you from. I see you achieve something. I say, oh, I can achieve it too. We can achieve it together.
Yeah.
I don't look at
show
that as
me.
I don't.
How do
I'm
we
not
do
threatened
it?
by that. Yeah, I'm not threatened by that. So when you have the confidence, though, that all comes from the love of the Most High. Really, knowing who you are, knowing you're set apart, and that you are the Most High nation. You
Mhm.
walk a little different. You definitely do.
You do.
Mhm.
You
Speak
will
on it.
move in any room.
It's definitely an identity thing because they make it seem like being in that struggle is defines them. It's who they are. That's all they are. Does that make sense? Like,
Definitely.
that's
That
all they
makes
can
sense.
ever be. And they
I
just
still kind
settle
of got
for it.
that mindset.
Yeah, complacency, comfortability,
I think that comes
scared of
from.
failure.
I think that comes from. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I think it was
No, I
just
was just,
Freebird.
yeah, I was just saying scared of failure as well. All those things.
Oh, okay. I think a lot of that comes from the, you know, we hold on to this whole model of like keeping it real and staying true to you. Like, yo, I'm from the streets. This is where I'm gonna be. I ain't never leaving. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I think because of that, we hurt ourselves mentally because we psychologically what we don't realize we're doing is keeping ourselves down here and we're keeping ourselves stuck in whatever situation that we're at because we're too afraid to want to not keep it real by bettering ourselves. We think to keep it real means we got to stay impoverished and we got to stay hood and we got to stay down with the broke and with the poor instead of realizing keeping it real means making it out and coming back for those people to help them get where you're getting.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it
I mean-
is to a lot of the music that is out is perpetuating in our community. It's perpetuating, that
Yeah.
lifestyle,
Propaganda.
glorifying that
It's
lifestyle.
propaganda.
Like, oh, it looks cool.
Yeah.
This is dope. This is what it is. Like, we hood rich. Like, nah, like invest in something. Give back to somebody to help them. Like Jamel said, like
Buy the hood out. Like, you know.
it made me so sick when I saw Kodak throwing $100,000 in the ocean,
Oh my
flushing
goodness.
money down the toilet, clogging the toilet with money. And it's people who can't even eat tonight. Why does he even have a platform? Why are people following him with that type of ignorance? I don't know what happened to him in jail. May Yah protect him, but that was not cool. Like, I was actually really disgusted. I really was.
I think a big thing too is, you know, a lot of these celebrities, especially right now, being that drill music is the big thing. I think a lot of these people, uh, the celebrities have a lot of pressure on them to to stay in the hood once they make it because they feel like that's the only way you could stay real and continue to talk about your your quote unquote struggle, even though if you take it back, you think of people like NWA, they were speaking on the struggle of the street, but once they made money, they weren't struggling no more. They weren't living in the hood still and having to do all the stuff that they were talking about in their music. But nobody
Mm,
ever accused them of not being real. So
Mhm.
why is it that now is such a big thing? Like in order for you to stay real, you got to stay in your hood because there's so many drill artists that are dying because they're staying in the hood once they make it
exactly.
because they want to stay real and true to their hood. But it's like the hood isn't doing anything for you but killing you off. You get that opportunity, and instead of taking that opportunity and leaving and then coming back and showing them how to do it or coming back to better the community in which you came from, they want
Oh
to just
yeah.
stay down and continue to tote the guns, and they want to brandish iron, and they want to keep slanging, and they want to keep getting into these hood fights and talking about my hood against your hood when it's like, dude, you're a celebrity now. You're making money. You don't need to do this stuff to survive. And now you're choosing to. Before you
Right.
may not have had a choice. It was a choice to survive. And now you have a ways to survive without it, and you're choosing to stay there. It just doesn't make any sense. But this drill music thing, I believe, as Deja alluded to, is what's keeping everyone in that cycle because now that's the big wave of music right now is the drill music. But you get some people who are moving out and they're getting chastised for it.
And I mean,
Yeah,
it's not.
it's
It's
true.
kind of like even music has been taken under it. Like when it comes to music, a lot of people don't own the rights to their music, which means they're being controlled on what to put out, what they can put out. What's keeping up with the trend, and not leading as far as the voice of what's cool and what's not cool. Like it's a lot of other ways to make it out of the hood as far as like whether it be music or whatever or sports. That's like the main two we still depend on, music and sports. But little do we know it's more than just college. People say, "Oh, I'm not smart like that." Well, it's other stuff. You got trade schools, you got skills. You got so many other resources. You got free stuff like on LinkedIn and Google and all these other free resources. Going to your local city hall because they have a budget dedicated literally for X amount of dollars for people who need it. But that's not something that's pushed, unfortunately. you know
What alluding to people not having rights and full control over what they're saying on their music. A lot of what we do here and what we are saying to ourselves is coming from, popular culture like music and things we see on TV. So like keeping it real, being a ride or die chick, or I don't need a man, all these things like, I'm a real nigga. Like we hear it
Yeah.
in the music, we see it on TV. Who's pulling the puppet
Oh,
strings,
yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
we get this stuck in our heads, in
Even
the
this
quote unquote stuck in our
perpetuation, even this perpetuation of which I hate, the strong black woman, that whole concept. What is that?
I know you referencing that. Yeah.
Like,
The
no one
strong
says
black
that about
woman
anybody else.
Mhm.
A detriment
That's
it's
true.
to our
Yeah,
it's
that's
society.
true. I
it's
don't even look at
the
that.
it's
You know.
the feminist psychological brainwashing. You know what I mean? Because and
But
they like Deja alluded to, why does it have to be the strong black woman? It's like why are they specifying our women? And it's because it's a psychological or brain pollution rather. Because
it
what's
is.
happening is they're making our women believe because I'm strong, I don't need a man, and that's completely against the will of the Most High and how things were, supposed to or intended to be. But what they don't say when they say a strong black woman is they don't tell the other half of that and say, strong black woman is only half of a family. So you still need that strong black man to complete. that family to complete you as a person. You aren't complete until you have that other person, because that's what's going to keep you together. That's what's going to build a stronger nation is together. But they continue to say strong black woman, strong black woman. They never say a strong black man though. They stopped saying that because they started to make us effeminate, and they started to turn us into this soft side of the family and make the women strong. So it hurts us as a people subconsciously, but we're not figuring that out.
And reference, going further what you said, Jamel, about the the feminist movement, just to drop a quick fact.
And that was started by white women.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, exactly. And the resource is wrongkingofgreen.org. It states that the CIA agent of Gloria Steinem led that, and that was basically swept right from under us. It was totally left field. Even the BLM took from under us. So let's just just quick facts.
Yeah.
Quick facts. We're not controlling the narrative. And every time it's we bought out, and we got to continue to say no. We can't be bought out. We got to lead by example, by can't let these big corporations buy us out. And that's really what it is. Yeah. That's truly what it is. We got to continue to be independent and like it is, like we are doing now, the kingdom and bringing us together, and that's what it is. Period.
Nah, for real.
Yeah.
And speaking to your bought out part, like it's terrible, but it was written in the curse of what was going to happen. I mean, Deuteronomy 28 said it, that we'd be over here oppressed by the families of, what is it, the Rothschilds, all them, Gates, all them people.
13 families. Yeah.
Yep. Thank you. 13 families of the Illuminati. Yeah. Do not buy out, like you said. Do not sell out to them, because you're not going to flourish that way, not in the righteous way. But we got to work hard because it's independent, like you said.
But not so many people want to work hard, because this walk of life is not, a kingdom mindset is not easy.
No.
She answered that quick.
It's not easy at all.
No one should look at this and be like, yeah, that's easy. No.
You ain't walking the walk if you say that.
Okay.
We need more like-minded people around us, because you can still know the truth and still choose ignorance. I attest to that, unfortunately, but
absolutely.
But having like-minded people, make you want to do better. I say thank you.
Yeah, accountability. That's why it's so important to have a community that can keep you accountable. Like, for that reason, if you're off on an island by yourself, nobody's checking for you. You could be doing anything, but if I'm slipping or doing something, best believe I'm going to get checked by several people, and that's good, and that's what we need.
Bring it back to the sense of community, and that's the Most High. All praises, right?
Absolutely. I mean, if we look at Luke 11:17, it says, "But he, knowing their thoughts, said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and a house divided against the house falleth." That right there just lets you know, I mean, the only way we're ever going to build is to be united. Once we're divided, the enemy got us, and it's going to be,
they know that.
High water. We're not going to get back together, because once we're divided, we are a very, very easily manipulated people. And so once we're divided, that's all it takes, because now they know, okay, now they can pick us off one by one. Yeah. But if we're together, we can't, and that's what Deja was alluding to as far as having community and having people hold us accountable. That's why we're stronger as a unit. But even within the units, there's a lot of individualism. And so everybody wants to be like, yeah, I'm a part of this crew, this group, whatever. But in the same token, they like, yeah, but I do things this way. They shouldn't be, there is no order, and there's no respect for leadership and the accountability is still out of it. So that's what hurts us.
I mean, if we're talking about accountability, I got a question for you though, Jamel. But if we're talking about accountability, referencing Kevin Samuel, I don't know where he's straight, but he dropped the fact you know, stating that, and I think it's because of the Black feminist movement, stating that 80% of divorces come from women. 80%. 80%. Let that marinate. And the question for you, Jamel, is do you think we choose our real nigga mindset instead of our real niggas mindset because our real nigga mindset kind of keeps us grounded in the sense of like the only thing we have that's can't be taken away?
I believe it's a combination of two things. I believe it's the man not being the man that he should be.
Okay.
See,
Period.
most men growing up, most men knew that they were the man of the house. Coming up, you knew you was being brought up to be the man of the house. You was brought up to be strong and be that leader. Under the Most High, that's what we were created to be. Adam didn't lead, and look what happened with Eve when he let her do what she wanted to do. When the man decided to fall back and say, all right, nah, you know, I'm gonna let my woman do what she do because you know whatever makes her happy, happy wife, happy life. That's when things started to mess up. But on top of that, not only did the man stop leading, but this feminist movement got into our women's heads, and our women started to believe, I don't need to be led. I already know the way. You follow me, bruh. I got this. But that's not how it works.
Too
That's
many
not how it
men
works.
they don't want a woman, they want another mom. Like,
Yes, that
like
too.
they want somebody to take care of them. They don't want to,
No.
you know, take on the role. They just like, you know, I feel for single moms because I was once a single mom, but no woman can be a father to like that whole thing where it says, well, I'm the mama and the daddy. No, you're not. Like you cannot
Out of
be.
there.
You know?
Yeah,
No woman
that
can
needs
teach
to
a
go.
son how to be a man. Like no woman can do that. And
Right.
I know that's a sensitive topic. I know it is because I know single mom's gonna be like, "Well, I do it on my own." Okay, but you can never be a man.
I mean, you can do it. Yeah, you can do it.
You can do it.
Yeah, but that was not the order though.
That's not.
Yeah, it's gonna be out of order.
It's not the point that they're missing the whole point. Like you can't be a father to your kids. There's certain relationships and exchanges that a man has with their children and a woman can never fill that void no matter how much she tries,
and vice versa. And vice versa.
Exactly.
I don't want to take away from the women. I don't want to take away from the women in the household either because it is a pairing. It is a pairing. And so, you know, I believe men, like the masculine energy needs to be in that house. And if it's a single father, that you know, feminine energy has to be in that house. But one thing that I think the feminist movement has blinded women to is, you know, this is the way that I put it. I actually tweeted this not too long ago, but I said femininity should be complementary to masculinity. It shouldn't be like this.
That's a bad
Yeah.
It's a balance.
So
I mean,
you know,
nature
we're
is a
gonna
balance.
both
So
we're gonna bring this to the household exactly.
You know, nature is a balance. So it's just only natural, you know?
That's why I really don't understand how it's girls out here really letting these men get off on them. Like literally, like they're letting them shack up with them, taking care. Like, what are y'all doing?
Yeah.
What are y'all doing? What possessed? How did you even think that was something that was acceptable?
Loneliness.
Some of these women are just so.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
True. I agree.
I get lonely 3. You know, I get lonely 2. You know,
3.
Yeah.
No amount of loneliness should drive you to
Be a
mess
mom
up.
to a grown man.
No, yeah, like what are you doing? Like it's supposed to be y'all are working together. He's taking care of your house, of y'all's house. That's what that is. Not you taking care of him and he's staying at your house. What? Driving their cars. It's insane. Like I don't know what they're doing.
So speaking of that, like, you know, back to like sayings that hold us back, and you see all these situationships, but you clearly want to model after marriage, but you see a lot of people saying, oh, marriage is for suckers, or, you know, I could never get married. Like, that's not for me. But then you create these situations that look like marriage without the benefit.
Right.
So where does that come from? You know, like,
society.
People be boyfriends for 10 years, live together, got kids, no marriage. It's not important anymore to them.
Yeah.
I think it's
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Portia. I'm sorry.
Okay. I was gonna say I've seen some relationships where they dated for 18 years, got married, first year, divorced. And I think what I see with that is that once you try to come into the covenant after you've been living that way for so long, and now this is real. You know, before you were living under a whole nother another covenant with, I don't want to put it this way, with another God. Basically,
it is what it is.
It was not of the Most High. So now you're trying to come up under this godly covenant, and it's the pressure is just there on there. But what I find is that most men, I'll say, they know. I mean, within the first year or so, they know if you're the one. It doesn't take that long. I believe a man knows what he wants.
Not boys, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, y'all just skipping young man. Like, come on, it's a fine line. It's low.
Well, no. If he's there,
she's not.
Yeah, she is. Straight facts.
I think a lot of it comes from not having, not having that taught to you. Like you come up in a household where that's how things work. And, again, not many of us are in the truth. So we're not following it, the way the law, statutes, and commandments, the way that we should. We don't come up in a household like that. And even if you come up in a quote unquote Christian household, things aren't always done that way. And, everything is always against the word of the Most High, against the will. So the things that are being taught, bass backwards. So they're saying things like, we need to, take your time, get to know one another. But in the process, they're not telling you to refrain from, sex, refrain from, shacking up and being together, this and that. Like you have to take the time to really get to, for lack of a better word, but to vet your partner though. Because in the process of dating, you have to vet this person and understand, is this somebody that you want to soul tie yourself to? Is this somebody that you feel like you can raise a family with, that you can have in a home and share a home with? So these are the things that we didn't come up on. We don't have that family structure and that foundation behind us. So for a lot of us, I know, speaking for myself, I'm the first and only one in my family that's in the truth. So I have to be that person to try to start that foundation, to try to start that direction and get things going. Everybody else is, on their own thing. So it's a difference when you don't have that to kind of, follow, when you're trying to be the first one to do it and begin. Especially, like I said, I didn't come into the truth until I was about 28 and for good at about 30. So it's been 10 to 12 years. So at that point, it took me, up to now, and I'm still continuing to learn how to do things the right way. Obviously I'll never learn it all and be perfect, but I have to be the first one. I have to, set that path. So, I think a lot of it just comes from that. I mean, we were broken a long time ago. So our households was broken. And so how can you learn? How can you know?
Mm-hmm. Right.
That's a fact. I think if more people understood too, like the importance of, like Portia said, covenant, people don't even know, like, that's strong. Like, we're making a covenant. It's crazy. Jatea and I were just talking today. We're going to start saying covenants when we're talking to people with business and personal. Like, no, let's make a covenant. So you're gonna understand where I'm coming from. Like, whoa, I ain't really heard that. Like, what you mean a
The
covenant?
language
Right, in a
Like,
long time.
yeah,
Yeah.
like what
Yeah.
am I about to sign up for? Like, come on
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, what am I to sign up for?
That's the power in words, though. The power in words. You know, if you create that, and you're gonna let them see just how serious this is. You know, just in the way that the way that you speak and the way that you bring it to them, they're gonna be like, oh wow, okay, your delivery is completely different than everybody else. And so, with that being said, they're gonna take what you say to it, and it's gonna resonate with them differently than if somebody else said it, because
Yeah.
you're bringing it to them. With the covenant, they like, she on some other
What
stuff
do
right
they
now.
say?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
I just
we need to step our covenant game up. You know, that's how
We
they gonna
hold
know.
do.
on. I got a
You know,
question.
that's
Wait, what
part of
covenant
our
mean?
covenant. You know what I'm
Wait, what
saying?
that
So
mean?
yeah,
Hold
exactly,
on. What is that?
exactly. You know what I'm
Google.
saying? Exactly. You know
Yeah,
what I
go
mean?
look it up. Go look it up.
So that's what I'm saying. But that's what it is. That's what it is. And it's the power in words. Deja, like you said, start saying covenant. It's gonna make them realize, like, oh wait, this is something different, it's something new. Because I remember, in a different manner, when I would listen to hip hop artists, and I'd hear certain artists like Razkaz or Chino XL. I'd hear them say some stuff completely different than what the average rapper would say. And they'd say the same thing, but the way that they said it was just ridiculous. It was just like from a whole nother textbook. Like, I was like, oh, you brothers read. Okay, so that's
Exactly.
No, you brothers read.
Mhm.
like when Black Star, Quali and Most Def, they're one of my favorites. It was the two of them that made me feel like, oh, I could be an MC, because I was like, I'm not from the hood. I don't tote. I don't slang. I don't do none of that. But I am intelligent. And these two intelligent brothers are out here doing what I can do. So I'm like, okay, I identify with them, and they're actually successful MCs. Okay, well then I could do that. And then, I start getting into more artists like Common, Lupe Fiasco, things like that. You start to be like, oh wow, okay, here's some people that I can relate to, and they're doing it too. So I don't have to do this in order to make it. You know what I mean? So people, when they speak, it's gonna resonate with certain people, and it's gonna make them see like, wow, okay, this is something different. I never, really thought about it, or grasped it, comprehended it this way. So when you start to throw those different words out there and you start to make people think, they're gonna be like, wow, okay, yeah, this is some new stuff. We got to be really about it.
Mhm. Now, I'm
And
glad
shout
you
out
brought that
to
up, Deja, because that'll bring us full circle to the point of this conversation. Like, we want to replace the negative sayings and thoughts and things with positive things, and that comes from knowing who you are, walking in your truth, using the powerful words of the Most High. Like,
Yes.
that's how we can start to unpack and unlearn and undo, the curses that we were stuck with.
Because people don't even know some of the words that we use now are like wicked words, like the English language, like wicked, like Latin, all that stuff, all them boys, wicked. We need to start speaking from what our Heavenly Father was speaking, like those real strong words, those affirmative words, those matter of fact words. I'm not playing with y'all words. Like, that's what we need. Something with direction, something with power, like magnificence. We cannot be playing around no more.
You can't be using words like busting and capping and
Like,
I don't even like saying good morning. Like, I don't even like saying that. Just like,
Yeah. Or
you know what I
hello.
mean? Like,
Mourn.
yeah, like,
Say shalom.
I'm not trying to be sad.
shalom. Yeah, I replaced all my greetings with
Hotel.
shalom.
Hotel.
I did.